Hello, dear friends. Open your eyes, for this world is only a dream, said Rumi. Opinion piece. Nothing is as it seems. Are we living in a simulation? No one has forced you to be here. The first key is to let go of time. Victimism sells more than truth. Consciousness permeates the entire universe. The ultimate abundance is to be the creator. Our energy keeps everything going. Dare to be like a child again. Let's start. Many believe that we are living in an artificial intelligence simulation that is controlled by something or some force outside of you, and the theories go on and on. I myself believe it sometimes when strange thoughts come into my head that they are not my own. This belief is based on the fact that we feel trapped in a karmic cycle in this world and seek to free ourselves from the wheel of samsara. There is some truth to this belief, since there is always something external that takes advantage of our weaknesses, but no one can take advantage when these weaknesses disappear. It would be akin to having the body's defenses down so that opportunistic ailments can enter. But what about the truth that we are a powerful source of energy, having an experience, creating realities so that you can know what it is like to be in that reality? How is it that fewer and fewer people are telling you that truth? Asks the Arthurian Council 90 through Daniel Scranton. According to Stefan, if there is one thing I have learned over the last 4 years, it is that nothing is what it seems and everything is debatable. But there is one thing that is always true. And the longer I stay involved with the Matrix or the show, putting more energy into it, the longer it takes for everything good to manifest. Our energy is what keeps everything going, no matter where you are in the world. Everything is mind. Panpsychism is a theory that all of reality is made up of properties and attributes of the psyche, and believes that mind is a fundamental feature of reality. It is also described as a theory that mind is a fundamental feature of the world that exists throughout the universe. It holds the theory that consciousness, after all, the most mysterious phenomenon in nature, is not unique to human beings, but permeates the entire universe and would be a fundamental feature of reality. It is one of the oldest philosophical theories and has been attributed to philosophers such as Hermes, Thales, Plato, Spinoza, Leibniz, William James, Alfred North Whitehead, Bertrand Russell, and Galen Strawson. In the 19th century, panpsychism was the default philosophy of mind in Western thought, but it experienced a decline in the mid-20th century with the rise of logical materialists, positivism. Some of its most notable proponents were Renaissance philosophers, such as Giordano Bruno, who believed that everything that existed had an essence of or vital principle. In the 17th century, Baruch Spinoza thought that reality was made up of single eternal substance, which in this case could be God. There is also the proposal of Gottfried Leibniz, who focused this thought on monads, small, infinite, and indivisible units of consciousness, which form conscious structures. Victimism. According to Daniel Scranton, there is something compelling about being the victim yourself, and that is why we see so much victimhood packaged and sold. As curious beings, you would, of course, want to know what it feels like to be a victim, but only for a time, only until you awaken to the truth of your eternal and infinite nature. So, if you are in a matrix, it is of your own making. No one has forced you to be here, to be there. And we have taken it upon ourselves to empower you, they say. And that means we will continue to remind you of who you really are, and we will also remind you that the journey you are on is long and illogical at times, because you crave experiences as a curious being. You don't have to earn your way into the fifth dimension. You just have to be more curious about it, no matter how much I tell you about artificial intelligence and other beings somewhere, making it all seem real. Yes, it's an illusion from a certain perspective, but again, you are creating the illusion. You are creating the game and playing the game. Even the rules are set by you, and you choose to enter the game at the precise moment you did. Now is the time for all of you to remember how easy it is to be more powerful back on Earth. You are more powerful when you offer a frequency on purpose. Remember that, and don't let it get any more complicated, because it doesn't have to be. You are the ones. In quotes, you are the light of the world. A city set upon a hill cannot be hidden, nor do they light a candle and put it under a bushel measure, but on the lampstand, and it gives light to all who are in the house. Matthew 5:14. Opinions. What is abundance according to Ranra? The ultimate abundance includes the abundance of money, as long as the money remains a problem in our society today. But money alone would not be the ultimate abundance. It would actually be the abundance of the light of the love of the infinite Creator, where we would all be one with the Absolute. Money is part of abundance, but it would not be the ultimate, but a stepping stone to the goal. Therefore, it would be a good idea to start living right now in the ultimate abundance of the Creator for all to manifest. Unraveling by Diger Barr. This change can lead to happiness, which leads to the dilution or release of negative energies, which leads to better health and a sense of well-being. This frequency travels through the cells into the neurosphere and out into space. This transpersonal frequency transforms humankind into a higher reality. The Eye of the World by Catherine Bill. The act of engaging in a creative quest, like the art of meditating, moves our mind from the mundane into the realm of magic and mystery, where we can almost hear the faint, haunting songs of the elves in the forest, or the distant hammer of the dwarves pounding or into the rock of Middle-earth. Mother Mary. Let Go of Time by Pamela Gripe. Right in the center of your body is a source of life energy. When you were a child, you were naturally in touch with this source. It is your spiritual purpose to reconnect with that childlike part of you. Life on earth is meant to be joyful. The first key is to let go of time. You often put pressure on yourself because you feel you have to achieve some spiritual or other goals within a certain time frame. But this would be a very humankind thought, for time becomes less important as you get closer to your soul. It tends to evaporate. Remember when you were a child, when you were having fun of playing and getting lost in it. There was no time in your consciousness. So, when you live this day, when you live in the moment, you follow the natural flow of life much more. Dare to be like a child again, but without naivety, so you won't be fooled. Imagine that the new Earth has manifested more clearly on this planet, and above all, feel the love of the Earth welcoming you. She recognizes you as the teacher and healer that you are, and at the same time wants to nurture your child path, the playful and joyful path. Reset news. It is all connected to what is happening right now as we switch to the QFS and the new precious metal-backed currency. Dates. Friday the 13th would be a chance for something strange to happen. The new year starts on Saturday 14th January in the Julian calendar. January 22nd, 2023 is also when Venus and Saturn are closest in the sky. Venus and Saturn are currently the farthest planets from each other that are also visible to the naked eye at night. Perhaps this has something to do with that setting scope of what is going to happen. But the pivotal date would be from March 23rd, when Pluto enters Aquarius. January 17, 18 and 19 were designated as important event days. Charlie Watt said that a lot will happen between January 17th and 19th. Will the war in Ukraine end in 2023? In quotes. Ukraine must win in 2023, or else Putin would have a chance to prolong the conflict, writes the Washington Post. Ukraine's successes in 2022 were facilitated by Russian tactical mistakes, which are less likely to be repeated now. The way forward would become more difficult in the front lines, do not change that significantly in 2023. The Bank for International Settlements says $70 trillion is missing from the official global accounting. The entire world's GDP is 100 trillion. Another roller coaster loop is coming. I hear talk about the need to release everything with asset-backed currency, which means they don't want to release anything ahead of time paid for with fiat money like fines, sanctions, etc., because they themselves don't trust their fiat money, says Mark Sire. A country cannot save both its currency and its bonds. The currency is what you and I use, and the bonds are what sustain the government. When it's time for the bailout, which do you think the government will choose to save? This is the decision they will make when the fiat world implodes. My collateral hasn't been paid yet. People are still moving in and out of their stalls, from one area to another. The clutter and chatter is still there. We just don't know the timing. It could happen at any time. The enormity of what is coming will shock the world. I think the QFS is sufficiently well integrated and ready for us to go at any time, but logistically it would be easier for the banking team to go on a 3-day weekend. Will we have to eat dank beetle? Sanchez's government, Spanish government, approves in the official magazine to add crickets and dank beetle flour to food. Europe. The Davos Forum warns of the biggest risk for the global economy. Recession, rising living costs, and debt crisis will be the biggest risks. Europe's largest deposit of rare earths discovered in Sweden. Germany wants to touch Russia, but its energy dependence won't let it. USA. Severe storms and tornadoes will hit the southeast, including the states of Georgia and Alabama. Flights were grounded to prevent the bad guys from escaping in their private planes. Radars were showing more than 2,200 flights, which could be the reason for the shutdown of domestic flights. The US will reach the debt ceiling within a week, starting the countdown. Robert F.K. Jr. files antitrust lawsuit against legacy media for efforts to exclude rivals from internet platforms. One observing could be Robert F.K. Jr. and chief advisor to the White Hats. Charlie Ward has been a friend of the Chinese elders for more than 16 years. He is the head of the global financial restart. Much of this information comes from the four walls of power: the Chinese elders, the coalition, the White House, and the redemption team. Grocery shops in New York City are considering locking up food because theft has become rampant, reports Michael Snyder. The study to ban gas cookers was prompted by the Davos Forum. California Governor Gavin Newsom says he will launch a digital ID within months like no other state has done. Chicago's Mothman is back. A little village woman and her father has just left a grocery shop and crossed the street when they noticed a bat-winged humanoid with red eyes staring directly at them. They fled in terror. This is the 10th winged humanoid incident in the community. And that's all for today. Thanks a lot, dear friends.